also the proud co-founder of 100 Words Mate to Mate, a men's health organisation raising awareness about men's health in this country and the plight that we find ourselves in at the moment. We're losing roughly about 8 men every day to men's mental health. So we're trying to raise awareness and reduce the stigma around men's health by getting a whole lot of people on. We started a campaign about 15, 16 weeks ago called Mate to Mate at 8. So the rules of engagement to Mate at 8 are this: at 8 o'clock in the morning or 8 o'clock at night, really any time you want, okay? We want you to ring a mate. We don't want you to say this. Do not say this. G'day, mate, how you going? Okay? What we want you to do is this. G'day, mate, how's your day been out of 10? Or g'day, mate, how's your week been out of 10? Okay? We put a poll up for you. So we want to know how your day's been out of 10. So fill that out and we'll go through the results a little bit later on. Now, tonight, at any stage, if the conversation gets a bit too heavy for you, there is always a number to ring if you're feeling uncomfortable. That number is 131114. That's the number for Lifeline. Okay, we hope that doesn't happen, but it would be remiss of us not to mention it. Now, I say this each and every week, okay, and I haven't got any better in regards to my education, but I'm not a doctor, I'm not a psychologist or a psychiatrist. All we're trying to do here at 100 Words is educate people on how easy it is to communicate with your mates. Now, this is really, really important. Okay, so we've got a whole lot of people that have jumped on. We've got some people at a 9. We've got people at 8, a 7. We've also got some people at a 2 or a 3. Those people at a 2 or a 3, get a pen. Write this number down, 131114, or my number, 0412 310 788. Feel free to ring me at any stage after the show. I'd love to chat to you, but I guarantee you after tonight, you'll feel a whole lot better than you do right now, and I really hope that's the case. So now, tonight, we have Australian horse racing royalty, okay? Let me just strap yourself in for this, okay? This is what this man did. He rode 49 Group 1 winners. He won the Melbourne Cup in 92 on Subzero. He won the Cox Plate the same year on Superimposed. He won 2 Golden Slippers in 94 and 96. He won 2 Victorian Derbies. He won 3 Blue Diamonds. He won a Sydney Derby. He won a Sydney Cup. He won an Adelaide Cup. He won a Brisbane Cup. He rode for the great Sheikh Mohammed Kerry Packer. I love saying that. He rode for Lloyd Williams. He rode for Kerry Packer. He's ridden all over the bloody world, and he has joined us tonight because he's a dear friend of mine, the great man. He is known as G, the great Greg Hall. Hello, buddy.
Hey, Craigie. Thank you for having me on 100 Words Mate to Mate. Pleasure to be with you, mate.
You are a superstar. G, how was your day out of 10, my friend?
Yeah, not too bad. I've had the passing of a good mate of mine. I told you earlier, but wasn't through mental health issues. Sadly, he drowned, and so a bit flat then, but I'm pretty spruced up now. I'm probably 9 out of 10 now talking to you, and that's what it's all about. When you talk to someone, that's what it's about, mate to mate.
Absolutely, mate. And let me just say this. In the last 16 weeks, you, my friend, are the sharpest dresser we've had. We've had no one rock up in a suit. And if you had a bloody told me that this afternoon, I would have got dressed up myself.
I'm not sure if you know how to do that.
Don't you? Hey, I told you this afternoon, I'm the bloody star of the show, not you. All right?
That's it.
Mate, really, real pleasure. Just a bit of background on me and G. G spoke to us at 100 Words event in August of last year with Ken Sheldon. Had a huge effect on every man in the room. Got a standing ovation at the end of it after talking about how open and honest he was about his life and his struggles, which we'll touch on later on. But had a real effect on me personally, and we touched base soon after, and we've been in touch pretty much ever since. It's been a bit of a roller coaster, hasn't it, G?
It has, but it has, and with the virus, and since that night was a beautiful night, yeah, it's tough for everybody, mate. It's tough for everybody, you know. It was only yesterday that Danny Frawley passed away, and it seems like yesterday, you know, but but we still hang in, mate, and we all know as Victorians that it's not easy, but you just got to pick up the phone and 100 words, mate to mate, or that's all we can do.
Exactly right. Now, mate, it has been a rough sort of 12 months, and, you know, it got even rougher. I spoke to you the other week when I found out that Subby died, and I rang you straight away, and you were gutted, fair to say. Mate, give all the people listening to give a brief rundown on how you first met Subby and when you first rode her, and a bit of information.
Him.
Sorry, him. Sorry.
Well, it's ironic. He ended up an ironic horse, but I was in Adelaide for the carnival over there, and he ran a race called the St. Ledger in Melbourne, and I wasn't really riding for Lloyd or any for Leo, man, and he ducked in and cost himself the race, and I got a phone call in Adelaide because I was there for the carnival. They said, "Greg, can you carry the whip in the left hand?" I said, "Yeah, I'm a genius at it. I'm a champion at it." And so they said, "You got to ride in the Adelaide Derby." I said, "No." They said, "Oh, you can ride this horse called Subzero." He's only a 3-year-old, been a Derby, and Adelaide go on the left hand. And I thought, "Oh, this is going to be real good, this," because they're winning 10 off the fence. The fence was no good, right, on the rails. I said, "How am I going to stop him from hanging in, you know?" And I got the barriers to put in the right hand, and they didn't know that. And he come down in the middle of the track, wins. Cut a long story short, 10 days later, he had 51 kilos. I'm a bit of a party boy then, you know, and been out at the casino and all that, and I was 58 kilos, and I said, "Oh, shit, I get down to 51. So I got in the sauna and done all that, and legs me up, whip in the left hand, getting the barrows, putting the right hand. Had to win down the middle of the track again, and he went straight as a gun barrel. And I said after that race, I said, "Oh, normally Adelaide Cup, nothing, no disrespect to Adelaide, I was born there, but not many racehorses come out of the Adelaide Cup and win the Melbourne Cup." And I said, "He might be a chance of the big one, you know, meaning the Melbourne Cup." And so, as they say, the rest is history. But I spent 8 months with him leading up to the Melbourne Cup. Every morning, 3 o'clock, up, wasting and sweating and done all his track work. And he was a very unique horse, you know, and he wasn't the best horse I ever rode, but he's my favourite horse. And yeah, sadly he passed away a couple of weeks ago, and I was fortunate enough to be able to go and see him down the hospital, and he come back for 12 months. Then his master passed away, and he had a beautiful journey, that horse. He won, you know, Adelaide Derby, Adelaide Cup, and a Melbourne Cup, right? And at 5 years of age, he ran the Brisbane Cup, and he ran last. I said, "Look," and he was carrying too much weight, and he wasn't a weight for 8 horse. And I said, "Lee," I said, "he's not going to do it again, you know." And the owners sold him to Graham Salisbury, and he taught him. Then he became a clerk of the course. Now, for those who don't know, the clerk of the course is the grey horse that leads all the horses back in after they win a race. And I happen to win most of them. No, that's a joke. And every time he did, I give him a pat and a kiss and a cuddle, and he led every Melbourne Cup winner in. So that was his second stage in life. But then his third stage in life, he became a people's horse. And in saying that, that means from 1-year-old kids to 100-year-old people, right? And it's not usual that a jockey wins a Melbourne Cup, number one. Number two, they don't keep in touch with the horse. So I win the Melbourne Cup. he leads me back in when I was still riding. Then he becomes a people's horse, and he'd go up on a lift to the Royal Children's Hospital or RSL clubs or pubs or football venues. He'd walk into anyone's house or go at lifts and all that. So I had a connection with him. There wasn't a year went by, and he passed away at 32, which is very unusual. But there wasn't a year went by where I hadn't met him multiple times, which is unusual. Nothing against the other jockeys, Turks, but you know, you can win on Brew or you can win on Mackay v Diva, but that doesn't mean Glenn Boss is going to go and see her every day. So we had a good rapport all the time, you know, and I thought he was going to die, and I went down to Bendigo and he was on the drip and all that, and then he was okay, and Graham was okay, and to live to 32 though he had a beautiful life, and 32 is very, very unusual, you know. And yeah, when I say it's, you know, I was talking to his owner the other day, and he said, Greg, he said, you're part of his journey. And this is what 100 words means mate to mate. Now, he's an animal, a racehorse, but we were mates. And for me to go to Bendigo and see him on the drip and all that, and when he see me, he'd give me a cuddle and a kiss, and it was freezing cold, and got up against me ear and warmed me up, and just another mate, you know.
The video you've sent me about you being down at Bendigo with Subby, the one you sent me, and we'll put it out on the socials tomorrow, about, you know, Graham's got him, and he says, you say to Subby, you won a Melbourne Cup, and me. Subby goes like this, and he goes, did you win it on Darren Gouchie? And the horse just sits there still. Did you win it on someone else? He sits there still, and he goes, did you win it on bloody Greg Hawley? The horse goes like this. Mate, it was like the horse was often referred to as, it was almost like a trained Labrador, wasn't it? It was amazing what the horse actually did in its manner.
Yeah, he was very unique, and there'll never be another one of him. And like I said, you know, become a clerk of the course, that's a job in itself, you know. You have to retrain them. But then to go to hospital and you see kids that are completely disabled, right, in a wheelchair for the rest of their life, and it's sad, but it's reality, it's true. And they got electric chairs and all that, and he'd give them a kiss and a cuddle, and I'd go to nursing homes, and he'd walk in there with the old people and all that, and he'd just walk around and give everyone a kiss. And yeah, it was a one-off, mate. There would never be another one of him. And but to see him at hospital was great, and he come good for a year or so, and then I got the phone call Saturday afternoon, and I sort of didn't believe it at first, but it was only a matter of time, you know. 32 is very, very unusual, but and I'm sure down the track when this virus goes and all that, there'll be a statue of him one day at Flemington with his master Graham. Absolutely,
mate. Now, if anyone's got any questions, shoot them through. We've got a couple of questions already, but we'll get to them in a second. So if you've got anything you want to know about Subby, ask. Feel free to write in, and we'll ask the great.
Or me.
Mate, no, pardon?
Not just Subby. You can ask a question about me too.
Yeah, well, you get to you. It's all right. We know you're the star of the show. I'm just the muppet who asked the questions. You told me that.
No, you're the compere, mate. You're like the Eddie Maguire. Right?
Oh, gee, don't say I'm like that. Now, mate, race day, 1992. At what point of the race did you go, you know what, I'm a chance here?
Well, it's the only race in the world, and I had the luxury, for your listeners, that I had the luxury through hard work. It didn't come overnight, whether the kids out there on 100 words mate to mate, they could be kids, they could be middle-aged, teenage, or 50, 60, 100-year-old with 100 words mate to mate. I understand that. But I had the luxury that after hard work that I could ride all around the world. And what was the question again, too?
I forgot myself, mate, to be honest.
I'm just,
No. What stage of the race? What stage of the race did you
that's
think,
right, yeah.
I'm a chancy?
Yeah. Sorry, listeners. Well, that's right. That's what I was going to say. So I had the luxury of riding around the world, whether it's England, Dubai, or Singapore, or Ipoh, Penang. I can go on and on. But the only race in the world, if you think you can go into a race and you think you're going to win it, it's a bit like, I suppose, for most listeners, it would be in football, right? And you go, oh, we're a certainty to win the flag. Well, that's not reality, right? So the Melbourne Cup is the only race you can go into that you can't go in there. What's the right word to say without swearing?
Too arrogant or too sure of yourself?
But you can't walk into the jockey's room, got your head up your ass, and then go, oh, I've got this, because there's too many variables. Yeah. And it's the only race in the world. Like when I went on the Mahogany for Lloyd and Kerry in the VRC Derby, Kerry said to me, what do you think, boy? He said, he used to call me boy or son. He said, what do you think, son? Do you think he can win? I said, he'll win by a minute. He won by 7 lengths. But in the Melbourne Cup, you can't have that bullishness and confidence. That's why it's the greatest race, and they still say it today, it's the greatest handicap race in the world. And now, as we all know, they're all trying to win it. Like, you take a bloke like Sheikh Mohammed, right, and Godolphin, which is his stable, it took him 21 years. Now, this bloke's a multi-billionaire and buys the best horses in the world, and he's had runners for 21 years straight, and it wasn't until last year that he won it. So it doesn't matter how much money you got or how powerful you are or who you are, the Melbourne Cup is the hardest race to win in the world.
So when did you know you were going to win the bloody thing? How far from the end?
No, I had a good run. I drew 15 and I got one off the fence at Vienna Cross was favoured. It was back inside me. I wasn't worried about him. But then I started talking to him in the race, because you got to remember at 3 o'clock every morning that we're with each other, and that I always remember one night I went out to Silver's, probably your listeners would remember about Silver's, but it was a nightclub, and I had a bit of a night out and was known as a bit of a larrikin and all that, and I went straight to the track and he dumped me before I went out on the track, but normally a horse would run off. He started licking me. He said, you've been out all night, haven't you, G? So I got back on him and we done our track work. But it's in the race, I had him in a good spot and got to the 2000. When you come down the straight the first time, there's 100,000 plus people there and it's very loud. And so the main thing is, because he knew me and I knew him so well, even in the mountain yard, you know, he knows my voice and that. And the main thing is to keep the animal very relaxed and quiet. And then I was talking to him in the run, 2,000 metre mark, and still 2,000 metres to go, and started singing My Way to him or whatever, and have a little chat. And there's all this, it's all, mate, there's so much carnage goes on, and it's madness riding in the race, right? And then when we were straightening up, he took me in the race a bit too early for me. He was happy, but I wasn't happy. I said, hang on a minute, mate, we're going to the front a bit too early. And he said, no, I'm okay. I'm all good. I'm handling this. And I was in front 300 metres to go. Well, then I'm in front of 200 metres to go. Then I'm in front of 100 metres to go. And I've been in my lifetime. I know you can get grabbed right on the line or the last minute, and I couldn't wait for that winner post. I thought that winner post would be coming towards me rather than me to go towards it. And it was the longest 100 metres I ever rode in it. But he won by 2 lengths. But I was never ever confident until about 20 metres out, and I said, "Now we've got a baby." I said, "You'll get an extra bunch of carrots tonight, son."
Good on you, mate. Hey, mate, you've got the cup there. You just showed me before. Can you show the people your cup there?
Yeah.
And don't knock your phone off the stand.
No. It's held up by, anyway, we won't go into that. Here it is, ladies and gentlemen. This is a replica. The Lexus Melbourne Cup. Comes in a beautiful box, and we give these, we go to a lot of rural areas, Turk. We travel, well, this year we can't, but we got a lot of rural areas, and we give them to schools and hospitals, and yeah, that's the Lexus Melbourne Cup, but in a smaller version, that's all.
Beautiful, mate.
There's the whole box of dice there.
Sensational. Now, mate, there's people just throwing questions to me left, right, and centre, so I'm going to have to get to a couple of these. One of them, mate, my sister, who's a big fan of yours, she wrote, "Mate, you're looking very dapper tonight. Looks like you've just walked out of the bloody birdcage." You are a very stylish man, aren't you?
A bird cage? I don't know birds dressed like me.
The bird cage, you peanuts. Now, we've got another one from a dear friend of mine, Jeremy. He says...
No, I pride myself on dressing.
You are. You're very sharp. You like to tell me that too, I know. Now, mate, you rode for some of the biggest names in this country and all over the world. Now, there is a little story about when you rode for Kerry Packer, and he told you better win, and you told him a few little home truths. Do you want to tell us that story?
What was that story, Turk?
You know, the one where he's put you on the horse and he said, "This better win," and you said it'll win by a minute. How much did you have on it?
He actually didn't say that. I was riding Mahogany at the VRC Derby.
Yep.
And there's Lloyd Williams, and I met Kerry Packer through Lloyd Williams, and Lloyd Williams built the Crown Casino, as we know. And I rode for him for 20 years, and I met Kerry 10 years down the track, and he only come down on Derby Day and Cup Day. And you're talking about one's very loud and one's very conservative, and they both got top hat and tails on. Here's this little jockey standing in the middle and 4 foot tall and worth $4. And anyway, Mr. Packer used to call me boy or son. He said, but he used to swear a lot. Well, we're not going to do that tonight. But he was very, very loud and all that. And Lloyd was very conservative and quiet and shy. And he said, "What do you fucking think, son?" He said, "Do you think this can win?" Oh, no swearing. Sorry.
That's all right.
And no, it's a true story. And he said, "What do you think, boy? You think this horse can win or not?" And it's unusual for a jockey to say to a bloke that's worth $12 billion and I'm worth $12, right? And I said, "How much you had on it, KP?" And he said, "What are you effing talking about, son? How much have I had on it?" I said, "What are your ears painted on?" I said, "How much you had on it?" He said, "I've had 1.6 million on it." Next minute, they said, "Riders up." That means you got to go and get up on the horse. The horse was Mahogany. And as I was walking out to get on the horse, I said, "Why don't you have a decent bet?" I said, "Why'd you drop your handbag?" I said, "Go and have a decent bet." And he tapped Lloyd and he said, "I like that kid." So he went and had another 3 million on it, and it won by 7 lengths. But I got some funny stories with him.
Did you cop a fair sling for that?
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
Bag of lollies, wasn't it? Bag of lollies?
Bag of lollies, yeah. Bag of lollies. So then I didn't have to tell the tax man.
Now, another question here from a dear friend of mine, Jeremy, says, was there a horse you never got to ride but you wish you had it?
Oh. What's the gentleman's name?
Jeremy.
Jeremy. There's lots of them, buddy. Lots of them. I'd love to ride Farlap. I would love to ride Mackay Diva. I would have loved to ride. And there's plenty of jockeys who would have loved to ride the horses I rode, but no, there's no horse. Oh, Kingston Town, I would have loved to have rode him. I would have loved to, but it doesn't work like that. No.
You got another question here from Robin. And now you know Robin. Robin's a dear friend of both of ours.
From the doctor?
Yeah, she says you are looking very, very sharp tonight. So you better say hello to her, mate.
Hello, Robin.
You're a good man. Mate, you got another
Robin,
one here.
You make me look good, Robin. She's a ripper.
She's an absolute star, Robin. We love Robin. Mate, we've got another one here from Shawnee. Given the physical requirements, jockeys are some of the toughest athletes in the world. There are numerous early retirements due to injury and mental health. Is there enough infrastructure to help jockeys in retirement?
No.
No? It's pretty hard, isn't it?
It is. Sadly, they think they have.
Yep.
Don't want to talk out of school. They think they have. They've got a psychiatrist. They've got all these things they think they got in place. I'll give you an example today, right? And before I was come on tonight, I ranked 25 people, and I listened to RSM and 1116 SEN. And Danny Frawley passed away a year ago yesterday, right? And they give all these numbers out, Beyond Blue, so-and-so, so-and-so, so-and-so. I get all that. I get all that. So I done this on purpose after I spoke to you today in the afternoon. Yep. I ranked 25 people because they say, ring a mate, do this, do that, blah, blah, blah. I'm not talking about you. I can ring you 24/7. I get that, right? But so I ranked 25 people on purpose / associates, mates, right? Whichever way you want to put it. These are people I know for over 20 years plus. Not one person got back to me. So what they say on the, which really annoys me, is it pisses me off actually. They send out all this advertisement on the radio and all that. Pick the phone up, ring a friend, 131114. Beyond Blue is 1300, blah, blah, blah. And then they know all the numbers, right? But the reality is it doesn't happen.
So we've spoken about this before, okay? So you are doing the right thing by ringing people, okay?
Well, that's what I'm getting hammered with. Every day on the radio, you're hammered is pick up the phone, ring a mate. So I done the right thing. I done an exercise, and not one mate got back to me.
Well, I want you to know, mate.
Not one mate even picked the phone up.
Well, you know you can ring me. You know there's plenty of guys here at 100 Words Mate to Mate that you can ring at any time.
Yeah,
I've done that to me. I know.
I'm going to interrupt here, mate. Sorry for interrupting, right?
Go for it.
But they say that on radio and all that, right? And I've got more than 25 so-called mates, right? But the reality is it's not true. And someone needs to know that, especially in the horse racing industry or any industry. It doesn't matter what you do, whether you're a bricklayer, painter or whatever. So when they get this across, the media people, right, is, I don't want to swear, but they really don't know what they're talking about because they're just reading it off a script. Ring a mate, ring this, ring that, do that. I feel like saying, well, why don't you fucking do it?
Well, that's what we do, mate. And you know, I ring you. You and I speak three times a week, roughly.
Yeah, mate, we can speak sometimes 3 or 4, 5 times a day.
Yeah. So you know that I'm always here for you. And, mate, it's hard. There's so many people at the moment going through a lot, and not everyone has the strength of character like yourself to be able to get on the phone and ring. And I want you, and I've told you this before, I want you to keep doing that and ringing people, because it's the right thing to do, mate. Okay? It's the right thing to do.
I'm not complaining, mate, but I just don't like the bullshit they put across to everyone. And I want the men to know out there that if that happens, not the word cop it on the chin, if that happens, don't get despondent by it. There's always someone you can ring. Like I can ring you, or I'll find someone, you know. So, but it can let people down what they advertise, and they don't. But they're not people that are involved. They don't understand it. But there's always someone you can find. Just pick up you can ring me anytime. I bet I'll pick the phone up. You know.
Yeah.
So the guys the guys that are out there that are hurting and have 2 or 3 phone calls. Oh, Billy didn't ring me, and Mary never got back to me, and Craig or Damien or whatever. Well, maybe they're on the phone or they're doing something else or whatever. I always say this is just don't give up. Like I'll just keep ringing and ringing and ringing. I mean, sometimes I can ring you too. You're busy with your kids or whatever, but I'll just ring and drive you mad till I get you.
Yeah. And I'll ring you back.
Yeah, certainly.
Now, mate, one of the most intriguing things about you is when we first met, when you did that talk for us in Hawthorn, is prior to that, not long before that, you were in a really bad place, and you were homeless, and the lengths you've gone to improve yourself have been amazing and really, really inspiring. I know things are really, really tough right now because of COVID, and you can't do as much as you want to do. But you constantly battle and battle and battle, and that's what I love about you, mate. Mate, you had a really tough childhood, didn't you? Your mum left when you were young, and you were brought up in the stables, mate. You had it pretty tough, didn't you, buddy?
Yeah, I did. Yeah. But I'm not going to go into that. I lost my mother when I was 2. Dad pinched us and all that. But getting back to what you said with the virus and all that, I was thinking today, Craig, that you thought you'd done it tough. Taking off your mother when you were 2, and you thought you'd done it tough when you're losing 10 pounds a week in a sauna for 20 years. You thought you'd done it tough when your life spiraled out of control after your divorce, and you knocked off millions of dollars. And I thought, done this stuff. And I was only thinking the car the day after I got off the phone to you, and went, I'll tell you what, you talk about toughness. This is the toughest time I have ever going through in my life, because I'm isolated, I'm homeless. No, I'm not here to whinge, mate. I'm just telling you the reality of it, right? And I'm sure there's lots of blokes out there like me, right? And no partner, no this, no money, no. And I'm going, how brave are you to do this, Because if I wanted to finish it, I could click a finger like that. I can easily end it, but this is the toughest time. And I don't know how I get through it, but I just keep doing it.
You do, mate. You get through because you're a tough individual. And we talk about this all the time. You're so open and honest. And what you want to do, we talk about this, is you want to help others by coming on tonight and being vulnerable okay, and telling us a bit about your story and how bad and fucking hard it's been, that opens up blokes, mate. Blokes look at you and they get inspired by you. I tell you this all the time. They get inspired by your story, and they get inspired by the strength and honesty that you give them, okay? We saw that in the room of 30 blokes last year, and when you finished, 30 blokes stood up and clapped you, okay? And there was a tear in your eye. And that's why you've come on tonight, to help people, mate. That's what you want to do. You're such a generous guy who only wants to help, and by coming on tonight, that'll help a lot of people, mate.
But don't think I'm not doing it tough either, Craig, you know.
I know you're doing it tough, mate. I know you are.
And I feel for the other guys too, but at the end of the day is we don't know. We haven't got a crystal ball. We don't know the future, but we just got to hang in there every day, you know. And we know we can always ring someone and there's help there. And, yeah, it's just amazing.
How important is it that you know you can pick up the phone and there'll be some guys there? And you're the one that does that to blokes too. You just mentioned that before. It's really important, isn't it?
It's very important. You mightn't get an answer every time. Don't worry about that. They might say, oh, it's Billy. Nah, I don't want to speak to him. He might be on the drink, or he might be down and out and blah, 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 and so-called mate and all that. That's okay. I've learned that that's not going to happen. Every time you make a phone call, not everybody's going to pick the phone up. But if you keep ringing, it'll happen. It'll happen.
Exactly.
It's a better alternative than the other.
Exactly. Now, we talked about the other day how you rang, and we won't mention any names, you rang an old friend who is a very, very hard man to get on the phone and has had a really, really tough time. And you spoke to him a couple of weeks ago for 3 hours. Now, he hasn't spoken on the phone for 3 hours for fucking 3 years. And because you rang him and opened him up, I know you've had a lot of good conversations and you're really, really helping him along the way, aren't you?
Yes. And you wouldn't believe it, Craig. I actually went and spent a night with him last week.
Oh, did you?
Yeah. He rang me. He rang me.
How good's that?
And I said, what's your address? He said, come over, G. So I spent the night with him and we had a good laugh and reminisced, and yeah, it was beautiful. Yeah.
Oh, good, mate. Now, mate, that only happens because you put yourself out there, showed some vulnerability, and that would have meant the world to him. Absolutely would have meant the world to him.
But it meant the world to me too, Craig. More importantly, well, not more importantly, A, he, B, me. And, you know, I'm not a martyr, mate. If I had a magic wand, I'd fix every bloke in the world. I've got my own issues, right? So it works both ways. The next day I come home, he drove me home and he spoke since, and so it helps me. I got, you know, my own mental health issues, lots of them, but so it was so good for both of us, you know. I'm not out there to think I'm Father Flanagan and I can fix everything. I need fixing myself, but things like that, it helps me to help others.
And that's the beauty about coming on tonight, mate. We've got plenty of people here that have written messages at this end saying, thank you so much for your openness and your honesty. Mate, your strength and vulnerability is inspirational. Mate, I keep telling you, please tell G his raw honesty. Mate, he says here, you're a hero. Everyone struggles, but not everyone talks about it. I told you, mate.
Mm.
Come on and you open up like you do, and you talk like you do when you and I are just having a chat. It inspires people, mate. We've got another one here. They come through quick and fast. Mate, when this whole COVID thing ends, you can come over for dinner. That's my sister, mate. She'll cook you a good feed.
Is she married?
Yeah. Yeah, she is, mate. She is, mate.
Oh, well, I'll still come for dinner. But
yeah, exactly. I'll come pick you up and I'll drive you home.
Is there any
Mate.
girls? Is there any girls out there looking for a good-looking bloke that's well polished and got a good heart? That'd be.
I don't know, mate. But after this show, your phone might ring off the hook. Now, mate, I was doing some research again the other day. Talk me through this. You won a Sydney Cup, an Adelaide Cup, a Brisbane Cup, a Melbourne Cup, but you never won the Caulfield Cup. Why not? What's going on there?
I was never interested in fucking suburbs, mate.
Just states, mate.
I'm a statesman, mate. Yeah.
You're in the States.
Yeah, I'm not interested in suburbs, mate.
Why would you bother, mate?
I forgot to tell the bloke on stage that said that to me that night. I did win 5 Mini Valley Cups, but never mind.
That's right.
my son won 2 Caulfield Cups.
He did, Nicholas. He was a great rider. A great rider.
He must have got it from his mother.
Now, mate, you've got one here. What was your take on Darren Weir controversy using jiggers, and did it sour the industry? Good question.
Cool. It's funny. Who's that from?
That is from Brett.
Brett, I only got the news. It was on Channel 7 News tonight. I understand. Well, I don't understand how it works on a treadmill. I do know about jiggers and all that. Back when I was a kid and everything. And I won't mention the bloke's name, but I just had a long text with a high powerful journalist, and this is for Brett. Can Brett hear us, Craig?
No. Oh yes, no. He can. What am I saying? Of course he can. Of course he can.
Yeah, Bretty. You wouldn't believe it. Just before I got on with Turks, I text this high-profile journalist. It's an absolute disgrace, and how can I say it? Because it's only just hit me the last hour, but when I seen on the news, for a man to do that to any animal is a disgrace, and to me, that's a life sentence, which probably won't happen, but it should happen, and that is cruelty to the highest degree. Absolutely. So all you people out there that aren't Greg Halls, or it's hard for me to talk about it because I'm supposed to be famous and high profile and all that, but it's the people like Brett that need to let social media know. For me, Brett, that is the highest degree of cruelty you could do to any animal. It is the absolute fucking joke of mate. Oh, I don't want to get. I really. It upsets me, mate. Yeah.
I know it does, mate. I know how much you care about the horses. I know you.
Any animal, mate, and humans. I've got a beautiful heart, but you just don't do that. And yet they're trying to make out, Brett, that it really didn't upset the animal. Well, he's paying his lawyer $100,000 a minute or whatever he's paying to say that. Yeah. Like his lawyer wouldn't have any fucking idea.
Exactly.
Anyway, it's upsetting me. Yeah, it's not good. Yeah. Bretty, it's not good.
It's a good question, Bretty.
Hey, Brett, spread the word, mate. That's the most cruelest thing you could do to any animal, let alone a racehorse.
Yeah, it is. Mate, couple of things. You rode your first winner. I know we're backtracking here a little bit. You rode your first winner at 13. Is that true?
Mm-hmm.
13. How much did you weigh then? You would have weighed about bloody 25 kilos.
Oh, something like that. 28 kilos. My old man had to carry my saddle back in.
Because you couldn't lift it?
Yeah. It had 7 stone. I couldn't carry it with all the lead in it in.
Mate. And the last horse you ever rode?
Oh, I can't remember. It was in Dubai.
Yeah. Did you win?
No, I didn't, mate. No.
No.
We won't talk about Dubai.
No, let's not. That's a
No.
whole nother episode.
Yeah.
A whole nother episode. Hey, G, I really, mate, from the bottom of my heart, I really appreciate you coming on tonight. I know it's you've agreed to come on for me and to help spread the word about men's mental health. Have you got any final word to anyone else out there who's struggling and doing it hard, particularly because of COVID? Is there anything you want to say?
Look, when I say no one's doing it harder than me, obviously there is, because there's 8 or 9 blokes a day kill themselves. I understand that. And I'm no different than those blokes. Yes, I can sit up here with a tie on and frock up and all that. I understand that, right? But, and we can all put a mask on, and all us blokes do that. How am I getting through? I don't like talking about myself, but reality is I'm doing it tough, and in each and every way, financially, homeless and home-wise and car-wise, anything. I'm doing it as tough, and there's plenty of other blokes that they're doing it tougher than me, because there wouldn't be 8 or 9 suicides a day. But so don't think I'm out there to preach to the 100 words mate to mates. How can I say it, Craig? All I can say is, guys, is I'm in the same boat as you guys and everyone else, and all we can do is call each other, speak to Craig, or 100 words mate to mates, stick together. And I know it's not easy some days. Don't worry. I've tried the wrong things myself, but just got to keep fighting. I just got to keep fighting. You know, it's not easy. You know, I'm no better off than anyone else just because I'm wearing a tie and a shirt. But it's not easy, and especially with this virus going on, it's harder. You know, and it's probably not easy for guys that have even got partners or married and that. You know, but I haven't got the answer. If I had a magic wand, I would save everyone. But we're all doing it hard, and just got to wake up each morning and go, righto, you might feel like shit. Make a phone call, have a coffee, or if you want to lower down, do what you want to do. Watch a movie or whatever, but just... and I know how hard it is and how difficult it is my aim, well, this is me personally, is when I have a bad days, which is, there's plenty of them, is I just go, fuck this, forget the black dog and forget the bloke on your left-hand shoulder telling you to do this and do that, and stick to the right-hand shoulder. And it's not easy, but just keep fighting and fighting. And like you got Craig, and you got plenty of avenues. You could ring me, or like I said about that guy we'll talk about the other day. You know, I spent the night with. You know, I didn't make his day, and he didn't make mine. That wasn't the plan, but we made each other's. So I know it's not easy, but just wake up and just be strong about it, you know?
Mate, there's people writing in left, right and centre, mate. One guy's written here, says, I'm sitting here crying.
Yeah,
mate,
well,
I told you this would happen.
I'll probably cry after I get off this interview, but and it's okay to cry. It's good to cry. I play some sad songs. Sometimes I sit in the bath, you know, and Greg Hall might look all sharp and that in front of you now, but don't worry about Greg Hall. He's tried to do the not the right thing and all that without mentioning the word, but you know, I cry a lot, and men do cry, and crying's not a bad thing, and ringing people's not a bad thing, and thinking that, oh, if I ring this bloke, he thinks I'm a fucking pest, you know. Or if I ring this bloke, it's midnight. How am I going? If they don't answer, that's going to happen a lot of times. I can assure you that. Not everybody's going to pick the phone up. And we've all got problems, whether we're addicts or drinking or drugs or depression or mental health issues or suicidal thoughts and all that. I get all that. I've had all of the above, right? But all I can do is wake up each morning and just, some mornings I don't want to fucking wake up, but I just got to fight, you know. And what's the worst result is ring a mate, he doesn't answer. Well, fucking ring another mate. If he don't answer, ring another one. Otherwise,
Exactly.
if you stop, it's going to end up in tears.
Exactly. G, thank you so much for coming on tonight, mate. I really, really appreciate it.
And love you, mate. I love you, mate.
Thank you so much for doing that. And just by opening up the way you do, mate, is a real show of strength and show of character. And every time I speak to you, you inspire me even more and more. And mate,
it's not false with
people
me,
just.
Turks. It's
I know, man. You're just real.
I just say it. I don't like to say it, but that's the way I am.
I know, mate, and that's what I love about you, mate. And as I said to you, I say this to you all the time. You've had such a huge impact on me, and for that, I'm so forever grateful for the constant impact you have on me. And again, doing what you've done tonight, being so open, honest, and raw, is what is really inspiring to other men. And I know with the amount of people, you know, throwing things in here, it says here, keep fighting, buddy. Keep calling. You have an unbelievable story to tell, and there's plenty of mates there, mate. There is. And
I appreciate that. I appreciate that, Craig, and I appreciate your listeners. And but yeah, you know, Melbourne Cups and Derbies and Cox Plates and all that. That's all material, and they're fucking trophies, you know. I'd give it all. I'd give it all back to be happy, you know. And so let's hope we get there and we all stick together, you know. 100 words, mate to mates, and that's the way we work and that's the way we roll. And you know, once upon a time, whether it was my ego or embarrassment or whatever, that people may look at me now and say, look what he's gone through, that bloke, you know, and what he's done to himself and all that. Well, guess what? That's what I've done for a living, and I happen to be not too bad at it, but I'd give it all back just to be a fucking friend of someone, you know.
I know you would, mate. I know you would. And look, when the COVID, you know, when the things are released and we get back into stage one and we can have events, I guarantee you, mate, you'll stand up in front of a room full of 200, 250 people and you just take your breath away like you have tonight. The questions and the outcry of emotion that people are just sending through is going berserk. So, G, I really do love you, buddy. I really do.
I love you and your family, Craig, and to all the guys out there, if you can help me, I would be over the moon. It's not about winning the Melbourne Cup or anything. Anyone out there wants to ring me and talk to me, Craig's got my authority to pass my number on, which I haven't told him that before. because you're helping me guys as well. It's just not about Greg Hall. Greg Hall's really just another human being. You cut his arm and cut your arm, guess what colour it comes out? It comes out fucking red. And we're all in the same boat. So I love yous all, and by all means, I'm there to help, but I need help myself too. I need help as well.
I know you do, G. G, I'll ring you later on tonight and we'll have a chat.
All right, love you guys.
Love you, buddy. Take care.
Stick together, eh?
I will do, mate. I'll speak to you soon.
When boys have money, they think they're men, but when they're broke, they're boys again. They tell you if you save it, you're a miser, and if you spend it, you're a bloody fool. They lock you up when you thieve it, and when you die, you got to leave it. So what's the use of money after all? Good night, guys. God bless.
See you, G. One of the most intriguing men I've ever come across particularly in the last 3 years. He does. He needs some help. He's really fucking doing it hard. He does it hard on a daily basis. But he just wants to help other people too. His willingness to help others is extraordinary. That's what draws me to him. So, yeah, soon when we can have events, we'll get him up and about, and we'll help. Guys, thank you so much for jumping on board tonight. Huge thanks to all our sponsors. Shelley Splice from Splice Communications. If you need anything done in your business in regards to comms, Shelley is the one for you. Splice Communications. To Matt Atkin from Atlas Brokers. If you need to refinance your home, get a good rate, or refinance your car or whatever, go to Atlas Brokers and speak to Matt Atkin. He and his team do an amazing job. They do a hell of a lot for us too at 100 Words. And to Brett Phillips, who runs the only tennis show in this country. The First Serve does an amazing amount of work in mental health for the tennis community, as well as us at 100 Words. We big thank you to Brett. Next week, we've got a guy called Andy Miller, dear friend of mine who, through COVID, was becoming a person he didn't want to become. And he said, fuck it. I'm going to leave my job, start something else. It's an inspiring story. We have Andy on next week. Everyone's doing it tough, really tough. So if that doesn't inspire you tonight, I don't know what will. Share that with your friends. But more importantly, do what G says. Just ring your mate and ask him, how's your day out of 10? You'll find out a lot of information about your mates if you do so. On behalf of myself, Waltz, who produces this show every week, and I love him for it, and the rest of the board at 100 Words, mate to mate. Thank you so much for your time. And I hope your week's an absolute 10 out of 10. I'll see you next week.